If you're not creating competition anxiety in your wife, then you're going to have to manufacture it. Like if it's not passively happening because other women are interested in you, like other women want to be with you, other men want to be like you. If you're not demonstrating your value passively, then you're going to have to manufacture it somehow. Maybe flirt lightly with the waitress, when you guys go out for dinner at some point, not too overtly, not too covertly, but enough that it's like, she cracks a smile, calls you sweetie maybe or something like that. Men have to create a level of some competition anxiety in her woman if he wants to have a good, intimate relationship with her. There's no doubt about that. It's unquestionable. She's not obligated to have sex with you. She's not obligated to love you in a perpetuity. You still have to do the things that maintain the attraction that you did early on, well into the autumn years of the relationship.
Are you working with any guys who are married whose wife have gone through menopause yet? Because this is a
Loads. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, like HRT is a game changer for a lot of women, but a lot of
totally.
it is like fixing the mindset of the guy so that he understands how to manage the marriage. And it's costly for a lot of guys because it's like, I make this joke with them all the time. It's like, to try to fix a sexless relationship is you're doing all this work on yourself first, right? Like you have to increase your value, you have to increase your level of attractiveness. That's the key, starting there, because the go plan is the exact same as the stay plan. If she doesn't like who you make yourself into as you increase your value and she's not responsive to you, you can hit the road running, bud. There's going to be lots of opportunities out there. Like one of the things that a lot of guys find, that I deal with privately in my counseling is like, a lot of these guys, I just can't believe it. We've been married for 25 years. I've tried this, that, and I've leveled up and I don't know if I'm going to find better. And it's like, I've seen 57-year-old guys sleep with women in their 20s that are enthusiastic about them, like they are like they don't believe, and they come back to me like, Rich, you're absolutely right. Like what you said is exactly what works. So I get that guys are going to be, hesitant to sort of adopt or even accept a lot of these ideas. But again, like I'll tell you the same thing, like have fun being in a sexless, unromantic marriage. And if that's where you want to be. If she doesn't come around, if she doesn't want you, then that's fine. I mean, just move on. She's got first dibs. She doesn't want it. Move on.
Do you think that most women go into marriage with ill intentions? Because I
No.
personally I don't know any woman that's ever gone in there and not been completely excited and enthusiastic about her husband on the day of her wedding. So
Mhm.
I'm not seeing a bait and switch.
Anna Nicole Smith and that Houston billionaire. I can't remember his name. She was like a 20-something-year-old Playboy playmate, and he was like an 80-something-year-old guy in a chair. Like she was clearly there for the money. Like
Right.
anybody that can't see that needs to get their eyes checked. But I think the vast majority of women go into a marriage. It's it's the biggest day of their life. The ceremony, the people in a room, the drinking, the cake, the dinners, and all that sort of stuff. It's super important to them, but. Again, the conversations you have with women are different than the conversations that you have with men when it comes to marriage. Men, you have to remind that they have an obligation to keep doing the things that they did to attract the woman, which are different than what the women did to attract the guy. Like one of the reasons why guys will get married is like, well, she was enthusiastic about me and we had sex all the time and, she couldn't keep her hands off me or stuff like that. And it's like, she was probably useful to his life and she was respectful and she wanted to embed or infuse herself into his life and be helpful. And, for a lot of women, they'll just get lazy in a long-term relationship. And my dudes, like if you're on the top shelf or you're close to it or you're doing the work and you're putting the dent in the universe and she's not holding up her end of the bargain, leave. Again, she's got first dibs on you. If she doesn't behave right, there's no reason why you should stay in that type of environment if you're unhappy. Women leave all the time. They untie the knot 70-80% of the time because they're not happy. So why are you sticking around in a miserable marriage because of obligation or, because you just think that you should for whatever reason? What do you want out of life? You're going to be dead and 6 foot under at some point. Everybody will be. There's nobody on their deathbed that's like, gee, I wish I tried harder, bro, for my wife sort of thing. It's like, that just doesn't work.
Or I get really kind of frustrated when I'm reading these comments from guys is I'm like, okay, your wife's not giving you sex. You've said you've done everything to level up. You say you look good. You say you make good money.
Let me
She's
just
still,
stop you there because
you
everybody that has ever said in my comments that I look good or that I'm attractive and I click on their profile and they have a picture, they're not. They're mostly
They have
under
a skewed
like
perception. Men do have
they're
a
mostly
overly
underweight or
confident view of
overweight.
themselves.
And it's like, dude, like just because your mom says that you're a good guy, it doesn't mean that she's attracted to you.
Do you think the proof is in the pudding in that regard? Like, do you think if he was truly good looking, that the wife would be up and jumping on it, or what?
Women don't leave guys that are handsome, successful, competent, resourceful, rich. They don't leave guys like that. They don't cheat on guys like that. Other men become invisible to women like that for the most part. I know that there might be an outlier or two, and somebody will be in the comments going, my cousin's sister's brother, blah blah blah, and they've got a big long story about it. But in the vast majority of cases, if a woman sees you as her best option, she will be enthusiastic for you for a long time. But there's mistakes that are made along the way. Like one of the arguments that I hear guys make a lot of time, well, what about Tom Brady? Because Giselle cheated on him with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. Yeah, you're right. Tom Brady was awesome. He was world-class at his craft, made a lot of money, tall, handsome, competent, blah, blah, blah. You go all the way down the list. But he screwed up because he let his wife engage in a rolling art on the floor with another man. Like, you got to be an idiot to let your wife roll around on the floor under the guise of self-protection. Are you stupid? Right? Like, what did you think was going to happen? And in that environment, like we talk about hypergamy, right? Like in that environment, that man, that BJJ instructor who owned that dojo, who was a competent fighter, dominated and was her hypergamous best option as she saw it in that space. What did you think is going to happen if she's rolling around on the ground, becoming, like rolling around like that is an intimate movement, even though you're not having sex. It's still intimate to some degree between a man and a woman. Like, what did you think was going to happen there? Right. So it's like this notion of hypergamy just being her best option, being the only answer to it. Hypergamy is a multi-piece puzzle, right? There's hundreds of pieces to hypergamy, and it differs at different ages in her life. It differs in different times in her menstrual cycle, in the month, things that you have to consider and contemplate. But even that small element, like if you tell most guys, like, you shouldn't let your woman roll around on the ground in a self-defense course with a man, like they'll be, oh, why? Like, why are you insecure? Like, why do you have a problem with that? Because I know what women respond to, and I know what turns them on, and I know that that's a dumb idea. Just like letting your girlfriend or wife go away for a girls' weekend to Cancun or Vegas or something like that. Like, are you stupid? What do you think happens in places like that? I trust the locks Vegas, on my $300,000 Porsche. I'm not parking it in a shitty neighborhood overnight. I know what can happen if I park it there, right? It's the same thing. Like, guys don't think about these small nuances and little rabbit holes that exist in relationships, because they sit back and they go, well, why can't you just be loyal? Why can't you just love me for who I am? Because that's not how women work.
It's funny that you used that example, because I used that exact example myself. She had actually a higher net worth than he did. So that money aspect, which many would be an asset to the mini situation, that wasn't what was important to her. She had her own money. So you can't always just look at the money. And money is a factor, but I always say it's not the whole pie.
Proximity, exclusivity, and familiarity. And there was loads of those three things between her and Tom Brady. They didn't exist with the BJJ instructor, and he was new. He was novel. He was sexy, different. And it's like, again, you park your car in a shitty neighborhood overnight, or you send your wife away to a weekend in Cancun or Vegas or something like that. Don't expect good things to happen, right? Like, you're inviting horror into your life. If you care about her in the relationship, and if she cares about you, she's not going to push back. She's not going to say, oh, well, why are you so insecure? Why can't I train with this guy? Well, I mean, look, if you really want to train in BJJ, find a female instructor, with her own dojo that only trains women. I'm fine with that. Go for it. If you really feel the need to learn how to roll. Right.
It's your job to protect what you find valuable. So I don't see a problem with that at all.
To set the frame and manage the frame of the relationship and lead it. And a lot of men, give up that leadership role to her and just say, whatever you want, babe, whatever makes you happy. Happy wife, happy life, right? All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here, where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.